Hey guys, not sitting in my usual spot today for unboxing, of course, but the car is usually where I spend most of my time. But super excited about this one. I want to unbox this right away. Just picked it up from the courier. Super excited about it because it's got two Europeans, three Americans, not a very usual mix, but I think it's going to be a rather good one. Now, unfortunately, it's a single tape thing, but it's slightly tampered or slightly damaged from here. I hope it's not tampered. I hope it's just damaged. But anyway, let's unbox together. Let's find out. You already know from the title what I'm talking about. Now, this is proper premium stuff, which means that this is going to be metal on metal with rubber wheels. When I say proper premium, I'm talking from the Hot Wheels scheme of things, of course. I'm not comparing it to Mini GT or any of those higher quality die casts. I'm talking about Hot Wheels. Now, you already got an idea of what I was talking about. This is, of course, the new Power Trip 2 from Hot Wheels. So let's dive right in. I'm going to pull out this beautiful red color car. This is, of course, the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk from 2018. Now, Hot Wheels have done this in the past in other colors as well. Grays to be specific. That matte gray from the Fast and Furious lineup of this one was an absolute gem. Loved it. But this one stands out. It's red, so obviously it's faster than the gray ones, right? But this one really looks good with all those beige interiors, those black five-spoke wheels. I think look absolutely gorgeous. And then we have the tail light and the headlight detailing carried out quite properly as well. And the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk badging on the front doors. The meshwork is also quite nicely done. The glass house was darker, if I'm not wrong, on the grey color cars. This one is more transparent and shows off those beige interiors quite well. You also see those big dimples on the bonnet, and those look quite nice. The Trackhawk logo is on the front registration plate. Looks beautiful in my opinion. The rear registration plate is absolutely simple, but the Trackhawk logo sits right below the right tail light. And you get the Jeep logos, of course, and you see those beautiful pipes down below. Those do come up in black color on the real car as well, so no real changes there. And I think if you had to add customization, maybe you could do the black stripes. You could put the stripes on the bonnet if you like. That would be one small addition that you could do. And talking of the real Trackhawk, Jeep basically dropped the Hellcat engine into this SUV, and that made it an absolute mad machine to drive. Imagine the Hellcat engine. You're talking about 0 to 100 in under 4 seconds, and something with this kind of ground clearance. Absolutely ridiculous. It's a supercharged V8 that we are talking about, dropped into an SUV. And the madness, of course, is in the details. It came with launch control, all-wheel drive that actually hooks up properly, and cooling systems designed to handle repeated abuse. So even the very few examples that exist in India of the Trackhawk, well, people do actually enjoy it and want to stick with the vehicle. That's a big deal. So honestly, there is no rational explanation for why this car exists, but I'm glad it does. So what's next? We have another brute, and that is this, the Ford SVT Lightning. Now, this is the F-150 SVT Lightning. Of course, this one again is a recolor. Hot Wheels has done other variations in the past. And again, just like the Cherokee, I think the red one, the Fast and Furious one, was the top of the pick for me for this. But I think the black one also looks amazing. And right now, they've also dropped the F-150 Lightning in the main lines, the super truck. That would pair really well with this. So if you're creating some kind of a diorama, or if you want to look for a pairing for this one. So I think that Super Lightning truck could make a really good companion for this. I love the way that spoiler is built onto that truck. So basically, both these trucks are absolute madness. And if you can, definitely watch the video that Red Bull dropped featuring that truck with Max Verstappen at the wheel. That's another nice video too. But I think this one in particular is a really good casting. And speaking of the SVT Lightning in general, this is what happens when Ford's special vehicles team decides that payload capacity is overrated and burnouts are obviously more important. I mean, if you check out the videos online for this thing, you will see it eating its rubber every now and then. It just loves doing that. It's powered by a supercharged 5.4-liter V8 rear-wheel drive and a truck that could out-accelerate sports cars of its time. And same goes for the new one as well. And here's the bit that people actually forget. This wasn't just about straight line speed. Ford actually lowered the suspension, stiffened everything, and gave it proper performance tires, which it kept burning every now and then, like I said. But that stance is perfectly captured by Hot Wheels, right? Whether you choose this or any of the other colorways for this. That stance is spot on. Also, owners quickly realized something, that the rear tires, like I said, lasted for about as long as your patience in our traffic conditions. Thankfully, I am parked in a better place right now. And yes, this is technically a work truck, just one that prefers working on its own quarter mile timings. What do we have next? Should we just get done with the Americans? I think let's do that. So the next is another Ford. This time, this is the Mustang SVO from 1984. In fact, even the rare registration plate just reads 84 SVO. In fact, in a passing glance, if you don't look at the card art, it might just look like the DeLorean DMC to you. Similar colors going on here and a similar wedge-shaped silhouette. But look at the details and you will absolutely love it. Especially if you look at the rear, you will see two spoilers on it. Yes, two spoilers. Because you see, this was a Mustang where Ford said that, hey, you guys think the Mustang can't handle? It can't take corners? Let's build one that does just that. Which is why you see two spoilers, which actually made it quite agile, gave it the kind of downforce required when attacking the bends, which it did quite well too. And because it was still a Ford Mustang, even the straight line speed was actually quite nice too. Now, those turbine style wheels on this particular casting, they look decent, but I think all you customizers get something better to go with this one. As for the car itself, this is in the middle of the V8 era, where Ford decided, let's make a Mustang for people who read spec sheets and appreciate them as much as they appreciate the real world performance, which is where the SVO was born. It's got a turbocharged 2.3-liter four-cylinder, better weight balance and handling that could actually take on the European cars. And my favorite bit here is that it had adjustable boost pressure or boost performance depending on the quality of the fuel that we were putting in it. So if you could find yourself high octane fuel, it would behave differently. Low quality fuel, it would behave differently. So that level of split personality, should I call it that, or that level of customization it could manage with its own boost map, that was something amazing. Back for that era, 1984 is what we are talking about. That was a time when I was a kid and just throwing tantrums. This one, however, was adjusting to the fuel quality. So basically, this is a car that adapted its personality based on what you fed it. That also sort of defines me. Also, that biplane rear spoiler I was talking about, it's not just for the looks. It actually improved high-speed stability, which tells you Ford genuinely expect people to drive this car properly. It didn't sell well though, because for a lot of buyers out there, it looked more like lean muscle than proper muscle that muscle cars were known for. This looked a bit too thin. So it didn't really do well on the sales starts. But now it's a legend, an absolute legend, which Hot Wheels has managed to give us yet again in another lovely casting. Now let's move to the Europeans. And with that, we pull out the Mercedes AMG CLK63 Black Series. Now again, this is something that we saw just a few months back as a part of the Boulevard series that was done up in a grey. This one is done up in a white, and actually it looks quite nice. In fact, some of the details stand out so well on the white compared to what we saw on the grey. The wheels remain the same. The tail lights look quite nice. That little thin black spoiler on the boot, it looks quite nice too. You get the AMG and the CLK63 lettering right beneath the spoiler. The exhaust pipes, the quad exhaust pipes look properly detailed. You don't really have to do much there. Even the little slat on the side right behind the front wheel arch looks quite good too. Headlight detailing is quite nice too, with that projector beam lamp showing clearly. And those orange reflectors on the side, again showing that this is a US spec car. Those are highlighted quite nicely too. The Mercedes-Benz logo sits proudly on the grille and on the bonnet. All those things captured perfectly. Even the side vents and the meshwork is done quite nicely. You get a completely black glass house and a tiny little antenna on the roof. All of it executed quite nicely for a Hot Wheels premium. And like I said, metal on metal construction, which is why you also see that right beneath you get a detailed underside on the chassis. The detailing is quite good, to be honest. And this came with really flared wheel arches because it needed those white tires, and the standard bodywork of the CLK simply couldn't contain it, which is why AMG had to work on the bodywork to give it those really massive wheel arches. Now on The scale model, it's captured quite nicely, but if you see the real car, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. They really flare up and it looks quite nice. And I would like this in a black. So I hope Hot Wheels is working on that. They bring out an all black version as well. As for the real car, it's not a tuned Mercedes, but AMG going completely off script because this came from their DTM obsession, which is where those wider track and the flared arches I'm talking about, no rear seats, and a 6.2-liter naturally aspirated V8 that sounds like it's permanently angry. But the interesting bit, this wasn't just about horsepower. AMG reworked the suspension geometry so aggressively that the car actually feels more like a race car than pretending to be just a fast road legal car. And that is what set it apart. Give it the beans and it would deliver. Be a little stupid with it and it would bite back. So it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. And Mercedes even offered adjustable coilovers from the factory at that point. So imagine, instead of ambient lighting colors or big screens and whatever, you actually got proper suspension tuning. So that was a big deal back then. And if you've actually managed to hear one, that was probably one of the best sounding V8s from AMG ever. Next up is going to be its compatriot, the BMW. And this is the M3, the E46 M3, an absolute legend. Now, Hot Wheels has done other colorways of this in the past, the most recent being, if I'm not wrong, the yellow. I think the yellow looked decent, but this one just looks beautiful. That green color just stands out so well. The wheels look nice, the headlight detailing is perfect, and it really stood out, right? That was that little kink that you got in the headlight. It absolutely stood out. So that is what gave that E46 that visual character. You could immediately notice and identify it, and out on the road, it looked beautiful. Again, that low ride height, that stance was simply amazing. Something that Hot Wheels has captured quite well on all the iterations of the M3 that they've done. The taillight detailing, headlight detailing is perfectly carried out from that point of view. The wheels, like I said, looks good, but what I really like is the brown interior or a dark beige interior. I think they've done it really well. Much darker compared to the Jeep Cherokee that we saw from the same pack, but I think this looks gorgeous. You also get the BMW roundel on the bonnet. That looks quite nice. The fog lamps, the meshwork, again carried out quite well. Even the underside is actually quite detailed. So that is something that I really like. The detail is really nicely done. And that subtle spoiler at the back looks phenomenal. And if you have the BMW 2-pack that Hot Wheels did just a little while back, the M3 GTR from it, the one with the V8 engine, that would be a perfect companion for this. But as far as customization goes, maybe just change the wheels if you really need them. Maybe get wheels that look closer to the actual BMW M3. But apart from that, I don't think this really needs any customization. That green color looks classy and powerful at the same time. So as far as the casting goes, I think it's executed rather well. And as for the car itself, the engine, the S54, people just can't stop talking about it. 3.2-liter, naturally aspirated with an 8,000 RPM. Ah, bonkers. But what doesn't get talked about enough is, of course, how theatrical it was or it is. 6 individual throttle bodies sound so amazing. So every time you breathe on the throttle, it responds like it's personally offended or it's just in love with you, depending on what you feel about the car and how much do you actually enjoy driving a maniac like this. But I have had a go at it once and I absolutely love this car. If there was one BMW I would take to my grave, it would probably be this one. But let me know, what do you think about this case? It's got a precision German, it's got a race-bred AMG, it's got a Mustang that was misunderstood, it's got a truck that loves burning its rubber, just like that AMG did. And it's also got a beautiful red color Jeep that was absolutely ridiculous. It had no point existing, but I'm glad it did. That's how cool it is. So that's the Power Trip series. I think it's a ridiculously cool mix of cars, and I think you definitely need to have it in your collection, even if you have these cars already in other colorways. Unfortunately, I'm not, but if you're lucky with the chase, you get the golden M3 in it. And that's another beautiful casting. But if you've hung around till the end, thank you so much for watching this video. And let me know which one would be your pick. What would be the order that you would put for these 5 cars? Which would be your top pick? Which would be your lowest? I think I should do my top picks for sure. I think right at the bottom for me is going to be the Ford. On top is going to be the Ford. And on top of that is going to be the Jeep. Over that is going to be the AMG, and the number one is going to be that E46 M3, because like I said, that's the one I would take to my grave. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, give us a like, give us a share, and please let us know in the comments everything that I asked you about. Thank you so much for watching this one. Until the next one, take care, drive safe, and happy collecting.